And the first thing we've got to get through, we're going to talk about who was Adam Weishaupt. And we're going to take aim tonight at Charlie Kirk, MAGA, and the Christian nationalist, and the Christian identityist, because they would have been squarely in the camp of the counter-enlightenment. That was part one, the counter-enlightenment. The Illuminati really was a club, if you will, that was put together to champion the Enlightenment. And the main doctrines of the Enlightenment were, we don't want to be ruled by kings, and we don't want to be ruled by preachers anymore either. So the Illuminati was, and I don't want to re-preach the whole first deprogram, but the Illuminati at that time, there were a lot of secret societies starting. So Adam Weishaupt, who had been a Jesuit, hated the Jesuits, said, you know what? We're going to start our own secret society that is going to do what all the other ones said they're going to do, make the world a better place for the divine, the sovereign, and the free. And tonight we'll look a little bit more into the depth as soon as we finish with this joker right here. And no, he's not. Yes, he is. He's sipping a Mai Tai somewhere, or maybe one of the hard seltzer drinks that this anti-alcohol great Christian made millions of dollars off. Did you know, Tribal Defender, that he had a hard seltzer company? Did you know that he just happened to sell his multi-million-dollar house just days before the Charlie Kirk event? It's rotten to the core. If I had more time, I'd bring you more about it. But at any rate, they were and they are in the camp of the counter-enlightenment. The Judeo-Christians are counter-enlightenment. They are the counter-reason forces of today. And you have to realize that today's Judeo-Christian cabal is against enlightenment, just like they've always been. Now, I get a little bit offended. I mean, you see all these representations of him. This is made by AI, and it makes him look like a great, super-duper handsome dude. He wasn't a great, super-duper handsome dude. He was actually kind of goofy-looking. Cynthia, I wonder if you might have almost qualified for that gang. Have you heard about the gang? Oh, I got to tell you about the gang. We can't remember where it was, but we saw some guy telling a story. There was this gang started by a Down syndrome guy who they called Fubar, and it was a gang of Down syndrome dudes, a gang. And they ran all the Hispanic gangs out and the black gangs out. They took over everything. And I think Charlie Kirk maybe, possibly could have qualified for that gang. And, you know, that's neither here nor there, but it's just the way it is. So I'm going to take a look at this. I've been threatening to do this for a couple of weeks. We're going to take a look at this. It's just a little short presentation on BitChute by some Christian guy. And Charlie Kirk stating America is a Christian nation. It's very short. I think it's 5 minutes at the most. We're going to listen to Charlie Kirk lie, and then I'm going to show you how he's lying, and then we're going to expand upon his lying and show you that not only is he lying. I was talking to Cynthia. Was he just stupid? No, he wasn't stupid. He was complicit. He was a bad guy. And, you know, here it is. So we're going to watch this, and I'm going to mute myself and hopefully remember to unmute myself so you can hear it loud and clear, and we will respond to these ludicrosities from Charlie Kirk. So here we go.
The earth on his throne. So in the Declaration, they were praying to
founded on Christian principles. Our country was not founded on Christian principles. Our country was founded on common law because the Declaration only refers to God 4 times. The Constitution doesn't refer to God at all, and it only articulates the structure of government.
Remember that we were a collection of states and colonies, and you need.
Now I have to break in right here. The man that started and asked this question of Charlie Kirk. And look at him right there. Gang potential, maybe. I'm just saying, but not the strapping Hollywood good-looking guy they present him to be, okay? Just saying. So this dude was saying, hey, Charlie Kirk, you say America was founded as a Christian nation. It wasn't founded as a Christian nation. And Charlie Kirk, like all presuppositional Christians will do, thank you, Dead Wolf, all presuppositional Christians will completely ignore the question and turn it to something else. And this is exactly what Kirk has done. The man says the United States was not founded as a Christian nation. And with the first words out of his mouth, you got to remember we're a collection of states. Listen to the nonsense he says, and we'll come back and comment on it. I'll try not to jump in every 17 seconds like I just did.
And it only articulates the structure of government.
Remember that we were a collection of states and colonies, and you need to read the state constitutions before anything else.
Why do you need to read the state constitutions more than anything else? The man said that the federal government, the United States of America, was not set up as a Christian nation. Charlie Kirk completely sidesteps that assertion because he knows it's true and it does not serve his agenda. So he goes to the state constitution. You got to remember, we were a gathering of states. That's not the question. The question is, was the United States of America founded as a Christian nation? The answer is no. He can't refute it. So he, like Fubar, we'll call Charlie Fubar, because I think he could have been in the gang. I mean, look, the visual evidence, I'm just saying. And here we go.
9 out of 13 of the original states required you to be a Bible-believing Christian to serve in government.
9 out of the original 13 states required you to be a Bible-believing Christian to serve in government. Gives you that stupid look. Number one, it's not true. Number two, he doesn't bring anything other than his word to prove it. And that stupid look, which qualifies him for the gang. I'm telling you, he's qualified for the gang. But the point is, 9 of the original 13 states did not demand that you be a Christian to serve in government. One of them that did, the state of Virginia, Thomas Jefferson, the lawyer, sued and had it revoked from the state constitution. But that's irrelevant. We're not talking about the states. We're talking about the federal government. And Charlie Kirk doesn't want to let the states have their say in what they want to be. He wants to make the nation Christian. Christian nationalism means Christian is in charge in a theocracy, more specifically a theonomy. But me, I would be perfectly fine with the 50 states being able to do what they want to do. The 50 states should be sovereign. The 50 states should be allowed to do what they want. If Charlie Kirk and all of his Christian nationalists wanted to move to Illinois, take control of the government through voting, if we pretend that voting is real, and then once they have the plurality in the state, for them to be able to vote that our state should be called a Christian state, that you should have to serve, be a Christian to be in state government, that would be the purvey of that state. And I'm for that. I would like to see this, and I hope this doesn't get me thrown off YouTube again. I'd like to see a place where all of the black people can move to. And then say, if you want to live in Mississippi, then you have to be black to be in government. I've got no problem with that. If the people of Mississippi want to require that you be black to be in government, that's up to Mississippi. Now, conversely, if white people wanted to move to Idaho and all the white people moved in and they had the plurality and they said, hey, only white people can be in government in Idaho, I've got no problem with that. If the American Indian people wanted to do that in Oklahoma, if the Hispanics want to do that in California, man, I got no problem with that. I got no problem with that. That's what a union of sovereign independent states should be. And even if 9 of the original 13 said you had to be Christian, which isn't true, that's okay with me, but it still doesn't make America a Christian nation. And you don't have to go any further than the Constitution, which says Congress shall make no laws concerning the establishment of religion. Charlie Kirk's not stupid. He might still qualify for that gang, but the United States, or Arkansas, the United States was never a Christian nation. He knows it. He avoids it. And I'm not letting him get away with it anymore. Back to Charlie Fubar, baby.
At the time of the founding. You could, even in Pennsylvania, actually, 13 out of 13 required a declaration of faith. 9 out of 13.
13 out of 13 original colonies required a declaration of faith. In this arrogant, psychopathic, foobar-looking guy, look at his face. Of course, he says, you must require a declaration of faith. He says that knowing that most of the people, not our 50,000 subscribers, but most of the people that listen to him will think a declaration of faith means a declaration of belief in Jesus and in the Bible God, because, of course, that's the only real God. That's nonsense. The vast majority of our founding fathers were deists. And deists say, you can believe in anybody you want to believe in. We'd rather hang out with people that believe in God, a God, the Most High. But if you're an atheist, that's okay too. If all the atheists wanted to move to Maine, they could have an atheist state. That's within the Constitution. But the federal government cannot pass any laws regarding the establishment of religion. And the Christian nationalists and the Christian identityists claim to believe in the Constitution, and yet they want a Christian theocracy, a Christian theonomy. He just said, and he'll say again, and you've heard Nick Fuentes say it, they want a Christian government to rule the United States. That's against the Constitution. You cannot have Christian nationalism and I just lost my train of thought. You cannot have Christian nationalism and the Constitution. Before they can make America a Christian nation, they have to get rid of the Constitution, which they all claim to love. They just figure you're too lazy to figure it out, and I just told you. You're right, Deborah. A higher power. America's not a Christian nation. It never was, and as we have our way, it'll never be. I'm doing good with the muting, right? It's because I'm a little tired. I'm not too skippy.
Required you to be a Protestant, except Maryland, which was Catholic, which still required a declaration of faith. In almost every single one of the original state constitutions, Pennsylvania included, they had, I profess Lord and Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior in the original state constitutions.
He said that all of the states required a declaration of faith to Jesus Christ. I did speak too soon. It was Jefferson, it was Twain that said there's lies and there's damn lies. That's a damn lie. And Charlie Kirk is a damn liar. And you notice I'm not speaking about him in past tense. Charlie Kirk is a damn liar. But he thinks that you won't check. Guess what? I did. And the original state constitutions did not demand or require a profession of faith to Jesus Christ. They did require a profession of faith, those 9 out of 13, because they wanted to work with people of faith, people that believe in the higher power, right? People that believe in the Most High. They were deists. Deists allow you to believe whichever God that you think fits you, or no God at all. But if you didn't have a basis in faith of things greater than humanity, they didn't want you, thank you, Aliska Gaming, they didn't want you in charge of government. So he's lying. And he figured you'd never find out, but I just told you. So the question is, how deep do you want to go?
So you remember, we're a collection of states before that. Secondly, 55 out of 56 of the original signers of the Declaration were Bible-believing, church-attending Christians.
That is a damn lie. And anybody that wants to take the 5 minutes to look up the signers of the Declaration of Independence will find that the majority of them were deists, not Jesus-ists. It's a damn lie. And tell me that look right there doesn't qualify him for the gang. I'm telling you. He's lying. He thinks you won't check. I did. I'm sharing it with you.
You asked about common law. So common law is inherited from Blackstone, who was Christian. A common law is an outgrowth of the scriptures. So let's go to 3 principles of common law: presumption of innocence, due process, and jury of your peers. All 3 are biblical principles. So, and all wrapped into the ultimate biblical principle that you shall not favor justice if you are rich or poor, which is in Leviticus 19, right before most famous part of Leviticus 19, which is that you should love your neighbors yourself. But before
the most famous part of Leviticus, which is Old Testament, which had no vowels, so we don't know what it says, because the Bible that we have today that contains the Old Testament, the only authority for putting the vowels where they are is rabbinical authority. So without acquiescing to rabbinical authority, you cannot depend on anything the Old Testament says. There's no vowels. Think of the word black. I'm looking at Black Friday up there. Black. B-L-A-C-K. What if it was B-L-I-C-K, B-L-O-C-K? Is it Black Friday or Black Friday? We don't know. Look at Friday. Is that an I? Is that an A? Is that an E? Is that an O? You've got the point. You can't tell. But yet, here's Charlie Kirk using the Old Testament, which you can't use for anything unless you acquiesce to rabbinical authority, which he does. It's another damn lie. And all you have to do is look at the names of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. If you go on Wikipedia, it'll have their names, and it's hyperlinked, and you just go and look, and you'll see they were not Christians. He's lying. Back to Fubar Kirk.
before that is that in the administration of justice, you shall not favor the rich or the poor, which is the idea of blind justice. We get that in the West, which is incorporated also in the New Testament ideal. Neither slave nor Greek nor Jew, you're all one in Jesus Christ.
Neither slave nor Jew nor Greek, you're all one in Jesus Christ. You know what he left out? No white, no black, no Hispanic, no American Indian. It does away with the basis of who we are, which is our race, our heritage, our ancestors. Christianity was designed to destroy who we are as people. Cynthia made a brilliant point. She made it years ago, and we were just talking about it the other day. If you go through the Louvre in Paris, if you go through some of the great museums in Europe, and I had the privilege of living there for almost 6 years, you notice in the paintings of the masters, not only are white people like white people, they look so much different. The white people are the epitome of the beauty of the white race. The black people are the epitome of the optimization of the black race. The Hispanic people are the optimal Hispanic look. All the people, they look like who they are. And this is where I get in trouble on Goyim TV, and that's okay. I love my race. I love being white. And I want my race to be optimized. But I also want the black race to be optimized, and the brown race, and the yellow race, and the red race. I want all races to be optimized. If you don't want to have to support other races, if you don't want to have to fight other races, let them move to their own states and let them rise to the levels that their initiative and their devotion allows them to race to. I want an optimized black race, red race, brown race, yellow race, and I want an optimized white race, because you know what that means? An optimized human race. And I know I get in trouble, but I know I have met black people that are optimized, and they're not the ones having Diddy parties. They're not the ones crashing and stealing at Walmart and the Apple store. They're not the ones burning down neighborhoods. They're not the ones killing cute white girls on trains. That's not the optimized black people. That's the you-know-whats that I don't want to see on YouTube and get kicked off. The optimized Hispanics, it's not the MS-13 or whatever they are. It's not the gangbangers. That's not the optimized brown people. The optimized red people are not the ones that are drunk on the damn reservation collecting welfare checks. No. The yellow race, they are the ones with all the high-paying tech jobs. I mean, hey. But the Bible destroys all that. It wants to take away your whiteness, take away your blackness, take away your brownness, take away your redness, take away your yellowness. Why do you want to give up who you are? Be proud of your race. Be proud of your heritage. Be proud of your ancestors. Be proud of your gods and your goddesses. Don't listen to Fubar Kirk. Don't lay down who you are. Stand up for who you are. And I happen to believe, I know it gets me in trouble, I happen to believe that there's great contributions that can come from the black, brown, red, yellow races, not just the white race. Now, I love the white race, and I think if we got into comparisons of who done what, we come out pretty good. Hey, Jessica. But Christianity was meant to destroy us all. To destroy us all. I don't think we're all one, but you know what I'm saying. Let's get back to Fubar.
We have the idea of human equality. These are all biblical ideas. They're not Enlightenment ideas, which is they kind of get conflated at the time. But more.
Did you hear that? He went out of his way to say these are not Enlightenment ideas. These are biblical ideas. You know why? Because he's a liar, a damn liar, and he knows most of you are too lazy to look it up. The Enlightenment was built on two ideas. Look at the first deprogram in this series. The Enlightenment was built on two ideas. We don't want to be ruled by kings, and we don't want to be ruled by priests. We don't believe in a dominant dictatorship form of government, and we don't believe in having to be forced to worship God in the way that one group says, and especially not that rat bastard goat herding God of the Bible. And they did a lot more to those goats than just herd them. Bridget, I don't think he's ignorant. I think he is a very, very dangerous individual. These are Enlightenment ideas. These are Illuminati ideas. And they're against Enlightenment. They're against illumination because they want you to assimilate into their fear and guilt, blood magic, Judeo-Christian mind control matrix and become a Borg. Not a Steve Borg, just a Borg like on Star Trek.
More importantly than that, they say that God was only mentioned 4 times in the Declaration of Independence. Well, that's a big deal, okay?
This arrogant FUBAR gang qualifier says that it's his God that's mentioned 4 times in the Bible or in the Declaration of Independence, and it's expressly not his God. It's the deist God, the God of nature, the God, the Declaration of Independence which is attached to the Constitution, which says that Congress shall not pass any laws concerning the establishment of religion, is not talking about one God. It's not talking about Odin. It's not talking about the great Danu, the great Don, the great Bridget, the great Morrigan, the great Dagda. It's not talking about my gods, but it's allowing for my gods. And it's sure as hell not talking about the jealous, psychopathic God of the Bible. And I would love to slap that stupid grin off of his face. So smug, so arrogant. It's not talking about your God, Chucky Fubar. It's not. It never was, and you know it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of lazy, unsophisticated people which will believe you. But I'm still here, and I'm letting these people know that you're a liar, and they can make up their own minds.
Laws of nature and nature's God. The last paragraph of the Declaration reads as a prayer. It says, we appeal to the supreme judge of the universe. Who's the judge of the universe? Jesus Christ. It says,
can you believe the unmitigated arrogance? The Declaration of Independence says we appeal to the great judge of all the universe, God. Oh, of course that's Jesus. No, it's not. Chucky Fubar thinks it's Jesus. And he thinks that you're too lazy and unsophisticated to check it out, but he didn't know that you'd be listening to the Christian Whistleblower. Chucky Fubar is the reason why the Christian Whistleblower is back, and back in style, baby. Back in style, not going anywhere. And I just got to say thank you. 5 years I was gone. 5 years. And there's still over 50,000 subscribers to this channel. And guess what, Chucky Fubar? I'll ride right now with these 50,000, and we will defeat you.
says in Revelation that Jesus will judge the earth on his throne. So in the Declaration, they were praying to Christ our Lord.
You have to be an idiot to believe that. You have to be an ignorant, lazy sycophant to believe that. You have to. And if you believe that, I probably can't help you. You don't have the mental capacity to take responsibility for your own thoughts and reason. You're probably beyond enlightenment. But only you know. Are you really willing to let someone else think for you? Are you really willing to check your mind at the door and believe what they say? It's up to you. But at least I'm giving you the information you need to make a well-informed decision.
As a prayer, very specifically. Thirdly, as I said on stage yesterday, Deuteronomy was by far the most quoted book, religious or non-religious, in the time of the founding when they were putting together the Constitution, more than John Locke, more than Montesquieu, more than Blackstone. So the book of Deuteronomy, which...
Do you hear what he's saying here? First of all, it's another damn lie. But he's saying that the quintessential book of Jewish law was the most quoted book in the setting up of the American Republic, which was created by deists who were all members of the Enlightenment, and most of them the Illuminati. And George Washington was Adam Weishaupt, who started the Illuminati. But he's telling you that men that left England undertook probably what was the most dangerous voyage that they could take in their time to come over here and start a country based on the two foundational truths of the Illuminati, of the Enlightenment: no kings and no priests. But he's telling us that the document that said we're done with kings, the document that said we're done with forced religions, he's telling us that that document was about Christianity. And you're smarter than that. And if you're not, you might as well go watch Cat videos. You're probably not a cat person if you're really dumb. You might as well go watch something else. Something else. He's lying, and we're not letting him get away with it anymore.
Talked about laws, customs, traditions. It was Moses' farewell address as he's about to say goodbye. Say, hey, good luck in Canaan, guys. Here's how you should set up your form of government. But finally, and most importantly, let's look at actually what the founders said.
So let's set up our government according to the laws of Moses. Why do you need America? Just go to Israel. Look, if you want to have a state that's set up on the law of Moses, get all of your Jewish buddies together and go to New York. Hell, you're already there, New York, Florida, vote it in and say you got to follow the law of Moses. Knock yourself out. We don't want to follow the law of Moses or we'd be in Israel. We'd be in Israel. I don't want the law of Moses. I want divinity, sovereignty, and freedom. That's what I want. What do you want?
John Adams famously said the Constitution was only written for a moral and religious people. It was wholly inadequate for the people of any other.
John Adams did say that. The Declaration of the Constitution was only for a holy and religious people. But Chucky Fubar, I'm telling you, he qualified for the gang. He's so arrogant that he thinks that you can't be moral and you can't be religious unless you serve the rat bastard, goat-herding God of Judeo-Christianity. That's arrogant presumption. He thinks you're too lazy. He thinks you're too stupid. I got a new one. Did you notice? I don't think you are. I think you deserve the facts to make your own decisions. How deep do you want to go?
The body politic of America was so Christian and was so Protestant that our form and structure of government was built for the people that believed in Christ our Lord.
It's a lie. The book that started, that inspired, that lit the spark that would become the American Revolution was not the Bible. It was Common Sense, written by the deist Thomas Paine, who also wrote a book called The Age of Reason. That you think the Christian whistleblower's tough on Christianity? Read The Age of Reason. He wasn't even nice. I try to be nice. And if you think this isn't nice, this is me trying. You've seen me not trying, and now I'm trying. But this guy is a lying, cheating, stealing, filthy, rotten, dirty, disgusting thief, con artist. And you deserve to know. You get to make your own decisions. But he's lying to you.
One of the reasons we're living through a constitutional crisis is that we no longer have a Christian nation.
Here it comes. The reason why we're having a constitutional crisis is because we're not a Christian nation. The Constitution said no laws concerning the establishment of religion. You can't have a nation whose Constitution says Congress shall not issue any laws concerning the establishment of religion and it be a Christian nation. You have to be somebody that can't even get into that gang. You got to be that demented, that deluded. If his lips are moving, he is lying. Paine did write parts of the Constitution. I agree, Brandon. How long are you going to let these people lie to you and get away with it? I think that we've all had enough. I think we've had enough. We got to get through this. It's going to make me mad.
But we have a Christian form of government, and they're incompatible. So you cannot have liberty if you do not have a Christian population.
You cannot have liberty if you don't have a Christian population. Fubar Kirk has said it. Nick Cruz has said it. Hegseth has said it. The first order of business when they make a Christian nation is to issue the death penalty for anybody that doesn't believe in Jesus. Does that sound like liberty? No. From the start, the only way that Christianity has ever spread is when it's backed by a government and an army that says, you either convert or die. That's what Charlie Kirk wants. That's what MAGA wants. That's what Christian identity wants. That's what Christian nationalism wants. It's the opposite of liberty. This is called kosher disclosure, inversion, and projection. It's never been a Christian nation, and I'm telling you tonight, Charlie Kirk, wherever you are with Jeffrey sipping and dipping, it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. You're going to lose. We're too smart for your nonsense, and it's over for you. We're on the rise. And what are you going to do when this illumination and when this enlightenment breaks out all over you, you little turd?
So that's just a surface level belief. So then they'll.
Did you hear that kosher disclosure? Did you hear what he just said? That's just a surface level belief. They got to keep you on the surface, because if you dive deep like we do, you find out he's lying. It's just a surface level belief. Yes, he's right. It's called kosher disclosure. He doesn't think you're smart enough to figure it out. Are you? Are you?
I'll go to the First Amendment, which has two parts of the First Amendment which get conflated. First of all, separation of church and state is not in the U.S. Constitution.
How do you say separation of church and state is not in the U.S. Constitution when it distinctly says Congress shall make no laws concerning the establishment of religion? You can't get any more separate of church and state. That's why America was formed. He's a liar. Are you smart enough to figure it out?
It is a single letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote in 1807 to the Danbury Baptist Convention in Massachusetts, assuring them that the government would not come after the church, okay, which is the opposite of what they would say. However,
more kosher disclosure. Thomas Jefferson said he had to write a letter to the head of all the Baptists in America that said the government's not going to come after you. Charlie Kirk, Fubar, look at that look. He qualifies for the gang. It was a gang of Down syndrome dudes. Why would the head of the Baptist Church in America have to receive assurances from Thomas Jefferson that the government wasn't going to come after them if it was a Christian government? All you have to do is think a little bit. Quit watching sports ball. Read a damn book. Watch this channel. Wake the hell up. Nice to see you, Sub-Zero.
that was then resurrected by the Warren Court and the Burger Court in the 60s, where they said, hey, you know, all of a sudden we're now going to make this a zip to the Constitution. It does say in the Constitution two things, which is the Establishment Clause and the Free Expression Clause. The Establishment Clause is that Congress shall make no law prohibiting the free exercise thereof.
He's knowingly lying to you. The Establishment Clause does not say that we won't prevent the free exercise of religion. The Establishment Clause clearly says Congress shall not make any laws concerning the establishment of religion or the free exercise thereof. If you want to be a retarded Christian, you're allowed to be a retarded Christian. You're just not allowed to make the rest of us act like retards. And he's not retarded. He knows it. Do you know it? I said I wasn't going to scream tonight. I really haven't.
What they were most worried about was a Presbyterian or a Anglican or a Quaker type religion taking over the federal government. Instead, it was that there is not going to be a state-run religion or a state-run government.
Absolutely ludicrous about the Presbyterian stuff. But did you just hear him say, he even admits there should be no national government. But yet he wants a national government. He thinks you're too stupid to figure it out. Are you? Jeff, look into Erica Kirk and the First Lady of 66 to 71. Okay. Erica and First Lady 67 to 71. I'll do that. Back to Charlie. I didn't know this was going to take so long.
Did you know that one of the first acts of Congress was taxpayer-funded Bible printing and distribution? Did you?
How about some receipts on that, Charlie? He's wrong.
Did you know that there were church services held in the Supreme Court building as late as the Jackson presidency in the 1820s?
What does that prove? It just proves we've been fighting Christian nationalism for a long time. Why would a government that is against the establishment of religion allow one particular religion into their buildings? If Christians can come have a meeting in there, then Muslims should be able to. Jews should be able to. Heathens should be able to. Atheists should be able to. He's lying. He thinks you're stupid. Are you?
But going back to this idea of separation of church and state, and again, I could riff on this ad nauseum because it's just so ridiculous, right?
Wrong. It's called the Constitution, Chucky.
Is that it's not biblical because, first, it's not biblical. It's not constitutional because you go a layer deeper. People that even say that, do you believe in separation of morality and state? Nobody does.
And here's the next part. They think that only Christianity brought morality to people. Before Christianity, there was no morality. Do you realize that Christianity is at best 2,000 years old? And there's been people with culture, what's the right word? There's been people with culture that is sophisticated enough to support religion for at least 50,000 years, at least. So for 48,000 years, there was no Christianity. 48 out of 50,000 years, there was no Christianity. Do you really believe there was zero morality before Christianity? Do you really believe there was zero morality before Christianity? Look at the Old Testament. How does that rate on morality? How does the New Testament relate on morality? When the God of the Bible raped an 11-year-old girl to supposedly artificially inseminate this Jesus character, how does that rate on morality? Just look at the world. Was the world more moral for 48,000 years before Christianity or less? Was there more atrocities against children before Christianity or after? Were there more wars before Christianity or after? It's a very, 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 very simple. Was there more pre-scandals with children in heathen times or in Christian times? When's the last time you saw a heathen, when's the last time you saw a non-Christian minister get busted for being a pedophile? I'll wait. You can't read the daily paper without some Bible-thumping, MAGA, Christian nationalist, Christian identity pastor getting busted for buggering kids. That's the truth, Chucky Fubar.
So all laws are a reflection of morality, and all morality comes from somewhere. There is no such thing as neutral morality, and we believe what founders believe because they put it in the halls of Congress, they put it in the Supreme Court, and they put it all throughout the country, which is that the Decalogue, the Ten Commandments, is the core morality of how a society and a civilization should exist.
That's another lie and a damn lie. They're really believing that until the Ten Commandments came, there was no morality. And by the way, all of you people, you're all worried about the Noahide laws. Every bit of the no-hide laws is in the Ten Commandments, which you love. Do you really want Christian morality? Have you read? Do you want Moses-style morality? How many people did they genocide? How many people did they kill? How many babies did they smash against the rocks? How many women did they cut open? How many women did they rape? Is that really the morality you want? Jesus himself is said to be coming back in Revelation 19:15 to kill every single person that's not Jewish with a sword. Is that what you want? Is that the morality you want? That's why I'm the Christian whistleblower. I'm telling you this truth. You don't want this. They think you're stupid. Are you? Are you?
Should exist, right? The Ten Commandments of every person. And finally, and this is the kicker, if the founding fathers were not Bible-believing church-trained Christians, why did they put Leviticus on the Liberty Bell? Not John, not Psalms, not...
The founding fathers didn't make the Liberty Bell. Your head is kind of shaped like the Liberty Bell, but they didn't make the Liberty Bell. You know what that is? That's a Shroud of Turin argument. That's called a red herring. That's so nonsensical. It's got nothing to do with the Constitution. It's got nothing to do with the federal government started by deists. Oh, the Liberty Bell. You ding-dong. You got to be a ding-dong to believe that one. If you believe that, I can't help you. Look at that look. Tell me he doesn't qualify for that gang. Go ahead, tell me. Anyway.
Proverbs, not Genesis, Leviticus. Most Americans can't spell Leviticus. Leviticus 25:19, proclaim liberty throughout the land of which you are in. It is one of the most sinister, most unsubstantiated lies that does not come up against any sort of academic scrutiny, this idea that founding fathers were a bunch of Enlightenment common law deists.
Do you see that the founders were all Enlightenment common law deists? Because that's exactly what they are. That's kosher disclosure. Kosher disclosure is inversion. He knows that the founding fathers were Enlightenment deists. He knows it. So he says, it's like they were Enlightenment deists. He knows they were. That's inversion. And then that's inversion. And then the projection is the people that don't want a Christian nation don't want you to have liberty, when that's exactly what we want. Charlie Kirk wants you to have the death penalty if you don't believe in Jesus. We want you to believe in whoever you want to believe, and we want you to use your head to think and decide for yourself. Do you want to decide for yourself, or do you want people like Charlie Kirk telling you what you have to do?
Yes, the reason they hate it is because the reason they must say this is that if we actually go back to our Christian roots and we go back to where we once were, it's America's best hope for revival and for a great future.
They're terrified because they know the Christian whistleblower has been doing this for 15 years. In the day I started, the Gallup poll said 68% of Americans self-identify as Christians. As we sit here today, the latest poll, less than 50%. Am I taking credit for all of that? No. But I'm damn well taking credit for some of it, because it's a sorry dog that won't wag his own tail. They can shadow ban me. They can keep people from seeing me. They can drive me to have to go back to full-time employment, but they can't stop the power of the truth that this channel puts out, and people like you that are sick and damn tired of serving under some dictatorial government that wants to tax the land that you have your house on, that you bought and paid for, this dictatorial government that wants to take your money and give it to people that won't work and that aren't even Americans, this dictatorial government that wants to tell you what you have to put in your body and what you can't put in your body. You're sick and tired of this dictatorial government. And if you've got two functioning brain cells that still bump up against one another, you don't want people like Charlie Kirk. You don't want people like Nikki Cruz. You don't want people like these ortho boys telling you what you have to believe, and you don't want them chopping your head off in front of your children if you won't bow the knee to the Bible God. They're losing, they're terrified, and we're just getting started.